No need for a lengthy introduction. Former UFC bantamweight champion, current UFC featherweight contender, man who just defeated the one and only Brian Ortega, not in a featherweight fight technically. Technically, I think it was 153 pounds, if my memory serves me correct. Yeah, 153, but he did beat him 5-0. 5-0. Meaning 50-45 on all three judges' scorecards. It was a 5-round co-main event underneath the Johnny Walker, Ming Yang Zhang fight back on August 23rd, the fateful day of August 23rd, just before the now infamous kickstream came and went. He is now 2-1 as a featherweight in this current run, and picking up a big win just a little less than 2 weeks ago. He's the one and only the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, kind enough to join us on this Tuesday afternoon. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ariel. How are you?
What's going on over there? What's happening? Is that just a cool arm sleeve, or is that...
No, I actually got turned off your show on my... I'm hearing you twice.
Oh, no.
That's funny. I was watching the show the whole time, so...
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
what do you think about Raja Jackson?
Listener, I know you don't always listen to the weekly scraps.
Bro,
You know,
what are you talking about? I've given you props all the time for the weekly scraps. We love the scraps around here.
That's not the same thing. Props and listening is too
listening,
different.
props, subscribing, all those things.
No, this is from the spinning back tricep.
Oh,
attack.
gosh.
Don't do that. If you want, you hit with the point of the elbow. This was yeah. I thought it was a cool thing to do, and then it backfired. Now I'm crippled for a little bit.
Surgery?
No, it's a grade 2. I think grade 2 is like a sliding scale of like, I think they say 20% and 99% torn. And then grade 3 is like just completely off the bone. So not completely off the bone. And they said just PT 5 weeks and then see how it heals and recovers. So that's just what I'm doing right now.
Okay. We'll get well soon. Great dominant win. By the way, shout out to Fun Carp. What is that? Is that Zin? What is that?
It's a Zio. Their flavors just taste better.
Okay. Is it the same thing?
Same thing.
Okay. You stick it in there?
Yeah. I like to feel like I'm riding a wave and just going through my day.
Yeah.
And not having any like negative effects on my body. You know, so it's cool.
Yeah. We still got some of the funk, by the way.
Did I give you the white, or you only have the?
I don't
age?
think. What do we got? Let me ask the guys. What do we have back there, guys?
I have the age. This is the.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the age.
Take a
That's
shot.
a good one.
Take a shot, Nama.
Oh yeah, drinking on the job.
We're
right?
doing it.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Oh, he's doing it too. Wait, is anything coming out there?
Empty.
It's empty.
That's all right. I'll drink for you, Aljo. I got it. Don't worry about it.
He's got you.
There we go. This one's not empty.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I'm driving home, by the way.
Oh yeah, nice. By the way, what's up with this hair? What's going on?
My hair?
Yeah.
Yo, it looks crazy, right?
Yo, it does look crazy. When did this happen? Is that white?
I wanted her to do it not so long, so that when the braids, like after a while, like it gets a little bit messy, you get the ingrown hair.
Yeah.
There's like it just grows away from the scalp. There's like new hair growing in. And then this way I could take it out the fish braids that she did and it kind of have it like a Waka Flocka thing.
Yeah.
Would have been cool. But then she made it a little too long.
How long are we going here?
How long am I going?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is this the beginning? Is that a real? We were debating if that's a real picture. Is that a real picture?
That's a real picture. It looks hilarious. I look like a pop rock star, K-pop. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You kind of look like a mini Rashad Evans right now.
With green hair.
Yeah. Why'd you go with green, by the way?
The Jamaican colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of like black, and
Sure.
And I wear gold, so I just thought, the green title in.
Yeah, I know. It makes sense. It makes sense.
I said that to Hunter, by the way.
What?
Because he was like, by the way, what's up with the green hair? And I say, I'm kind of like black, the Jamaican colors. He was like, I don't think there's a question if you're black or not. I thought that was pretty funny. I brought one of the rum bottles for him because he's also like a rum connoisseur like myself. So
Yeah.
he got to try it. We had a little taste, and he actually really enjoyed it, which is cool.
Look at you. Look how far you've come with the brass. Now you're hanging out, having rum together. You're practically BFF.
What can I say? I'm a people sometimes.
It's good. It's good. Okay. Can I go back to Shanghai and the point where you find out he's going to miss weight by a large amount? How late in the process do you find out?
Sorry. Is my audio messed up? I don't know if you can.
No, you sound perfect to me. Are we messed up to you?
I got the headphones in, but you're like still coming out the laptop and not coming out through my ears.
It sounds like you're coming through the headphones.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. So the morning of, Brian and I both go down the elevator. I come out one, he comes out the other. And of course, it's like, I forget what time we both started, maybe 7:30. We both got down there. And then I look behind me. It's Brian. We both make eye contact. And I can see he's looking like death. I'm looking like death. And we just have like this agreement of like, yeah, this sucks for both of us. So I'm thinking, okay, things are good. He's going to actually make weight this time. And I get to the back. I check 2 pounds. I get started. After maybe 45 minutes, I'm like, I lose 1.5 pounds maybe, or an hour. So I only have about half a pound left when I go back and I check. And then as soon as I get in, I'm probably like 3-4 minutes into the sauna session again in the blanket. Tiki walks in with Mick, and yeah, they're just like, yeah, Brian's going to the hospital.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, are we fighting still? Is the fight off? Am I fighting somebody else? Just trying to figure out the whole nine. And thankfully, they did the right thing. They made it work, and they hooked it up, man. Like, they really took care of me, which I'm super happy about. Like, win or lose, it wouldn't have affected my pay rate. I would have gotten the same thing no matter what. So I'm very, very fortunate and blessed for that. But I'm still happy that I still got to fight Brian. I think this might have been the first time that a fighter has gone to the hospital and was able to come back and compete. And the main thing was they wanted to make sure the weight discrepancy wasn't too big so that the fight can still go on. I don't know. The morning of, I thought he maybe had anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds. And I know that's not easy with not that much time left in terms of when the weigh-ins would start. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a roller coaster of emotions because I was starting to get aggravated. I was irritated. Obviously, I'm up 10 pounds, but it is still extremely hard for me to get down to 145. And I really have no idea in hell how I made 135 for so long. Like, I obviously got bigger, but it's very, very difficult, man. I'm just so lean. I don't have a lot of fat to lose. So it's a pain in the ass. So as you're making the weight and you hear this news and your brain is just scrambling with all these different thoughts. And I said it before, like, I don't even think he's going to make it to the fight. And I was just preparing myself mentally in case there was like some backup that was going to jump in. And I'm glad the fight still went on because that's who I wanted to fight when I first came down to the division. I wanted to fight the guy who was the highest ranked. It could have been him. It could have been a Lerone Murphy. It could have been Pico. It could have been whoever it was that's the highest ranked. I just want to get as close to the title as possible by beating the highest ranked guy. And, unfortunately, I didn't get that. I got Calvin Kattar instead. Brian got to fight Diego Lopez, and he still couldn't finish him even after the whole weight thing. And, I just wanted a fair shot to fight someone to get into the top 5 and make a claim to run for the title again, I don't think it's an unfair ask. If you want to talk about fight styles, that's a completely different conversation. But in terms of getting back to a title shot, you beat the next best guy. You should theoretically be the next guy in line. So that was a thought process in fighting like somewhat of a friend, Obviously, his relationship is not like mine and Merab's, but he's a super chill dude. We fought together in the same car, cut weight together before. I trained with him one time. But in a position like this, it's like, yo, what am I supposed to do? I'm friends with more than half the division in the top 15 because I was a bantamweight my whole career. Now I'm a featherweight. It's like something's got to give. I'm going to have to fight a couple of you guys. It's just the way that everything's going to have to shake out,
At this point, would you agree he needs to go up to 55 and stay there for the foreseeable future? Like, I was surprised that he came. I was surprised the Lopez fight was at 45, and then I was surprised that he came back against you at 45. It did not look good on the scale.
Yeah, I could understand that. It didn't look good at all. And I know I've seen him look like death before, and then he comes back and guys still can't put him away. So it's one of those things that almost feels like and I'm not saying this is what he's doing. This is just like a thought process. I'm like, what if he's just making it look like he's really, really dead, like all of us, but way worse? And then he comes up the next day and then he beats guys. Like he beat Yair Rodriguez not too long ago. And, he had a tough weight cut, the same thing, rolled his ankle before the fight. He's getting crushed in the first round, comes back and gets a finish in the third, And this is the same guy people are saying is washed. He doesn't win fights anymore. He needs to call it a career. I'm like, I don't know if you guys are watching the fights. Ortega's still a dog, and I think he's still competitive. And he doesn't quit. And I think that's the thing. A fight's not 5 minutes. It's 25 minutes, 15 minutes. And I think for that, I think he still has a lot left in the tank, especially if he goes up to 55. Me coming up was the best thing I ever did. I wish I did it sooner. And, whatever. I think he would find a lot of success if he were to go up to 55 as well.
Overall, I mean, you had to deal with the injury, and I want to ask you about Herb in a second. But overall, to do that over 5 rounds against someone like him, were you happy with the performance?
Yeah, very happy with the performance. If you watch the fight, every time I was feinting and level changing in the first and second round, there was not one bite on that whatsoever. He was sitting on that, waiting for it the whole time for me to utilize my game, which is to push my wrestling and go for my head outside single, which I always do. That's like my best takedown that I have. Of course, I could chain wrestle, but that's my best takedown attack on my entries. And he has a really good guillotine choke. So what better way than to pressure the wrestler and to force him into a bad position so that he gives you exactly what you want, So I thought I did really well in terms of the game plan, which was to strike the same game plan it was supposed to be with Mozart, but then instincts took over. And the takedowns were just so easy. It was just like, well, I might as well just wrestle the guy. I'm already here. What I'm going to do, work for this takedown, just let him up. In hindsight, I probably should have did that in some of those positions and it would take away his reversals. Just going back, analyzing the fight, trying to understand what you could do better to improve as a fighter IQ. And in this, we stayed heavy, and then I forced him to shoot because now he's behind and he needs to make the adjustment. And then I started attacking the neck. And then when I transitioned to the back, I almost had the back. He did a good job utilizing his jiu-jitsu. But overall, in terms of performance, everything we worked on in training, myself, Merab, Mateus, Shane, JP, John Powell, all these guys that I've been working with, Dennis Bazookia, you couldn't have asked for a better display of preparation. And I think for me, I'm very, very content and happy with that. Would I have liked to have gotten a finish? Would I have liked to have grappled? Yes, for both those things. But when you have a guy who's not trying to do that, then it's like, what are you supposed to do? So I want to say all in all, it was a great performance in my opinion. My best friend Sean O'Malley even thought it was a good performance.
But you guys are boys now. He DM'd you?
Yeah, he DM'd me, and some people thought I was taking a slight at him. I was like, I'm not taking a slight at him. I was like, but he responds to me, and I just liked it at the time. I had like 100 messages, more than 100 messages. I'm like, I'm supposed to take my time out to like. It's not like he's Weidman or Ally Quinta or Merab sent him. It's why am I going out of my way to make sure I respond to him right then and right there? I thought it was cool. I appreciate the acknowledgement, and it shows that he's a fan of the sport. He watches, because that was a really early fight card, right?
Yep.
But he had positive things to say. I even saw him today at the PI, and we talked about it a little bit. I came in, I actually said something to him first, like, hey, what's up, dude? And we shook hands, whatever. He has a guy fighting at Contender Series, as do we. And yeah, it was cool conversation. We're talking about the tricep, the spinning elbow. I was like, make sure you don't spin with the tricep, spin with the elbow. But all in all, great conversation. Cool dude. I would love to send him a bottle of my rum. I got no animosity against the guy, but if people want to make drama out of something, it's like every interview I do, the main talking point is to talk about O'Malley because they know it gets clicks.
Nah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm always going to give my honest opinion. And if whether you like it or you don't hate me for my honesty. If you don't like what I got to say, okay, cool. I'm not putting on a show. I'm not trying to pretend to do anything. So it is what it is.
By the way, you brought him up, not me, just for the record. So
No, I know. I'm just saying, in general, I get a lot of flack for that. But the ones who understand is like, yeah, dude, I'm doing an interview. This is what people are going to ask because they want to rile me up. I'm like, I'm not gonna get riled up, but I'm gonna speak on how I feel. I might joke about it and have a laugh, but I'm human. I think if I didn't have the reactions I have, it shows that I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit in the sense like that ship has sailed and gone, but I care in terms of like how I feel and the way I compete. Like you ask me about any of my fights, I'm gonna tell you why I felt I won, why I felt I lost, what I felt I could have done better, what I felt I did good. And I think any true competitor is like that. And if you don't have that competitive bone in you, you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
By the way, why was this fight 5 rounds?
I think they wanted it. I think they wanted 5 rounds because they thought, based on maybe tape, that they would get me in the later rounds, which was a good strategy. But you also have to look at the fact that I am now at 45. So the gas tank issues that I were having in championship rounds at 135 are no longer the same. Yeah, I'm older now, but I was literally, um, uh, how do I say this without people getting their panties in a bunch? Me and Merab were like Siamese twins of just being Energizer bunnies when I was a smaller 135er. But as I got older, it got more difficult. I became more dense. The weight cut started to weigh on me, and I don't compete the same in the later rounds as I do in the beginning of the fight. So all in all, it was a great strategy, but it was a pointless thing. It's in hindsight, right? So now it's like, well, we didn't need to do that for 5 rounds. If we knew the fight was going to be like this, it's kind of like, well, what was the point of doing the 5 rounds? But he did catch me in the 5th round, right? So it makes that for a little bit of excitement. Other than that, I was opposed to it because it was just like, why are we fighting extra work for not getting a title shot at the end of this? There's no upside. What
And
is
no
the
extra
upside?
pay, right?
About 40% more work.
Yeah.
Who wants to do 40% more work for no reason? It doesn't make sense.
I think 5 round fights should just be pay-per-view main events, fight night main events, and very clear number one contender fights. But they don't make very clear number one contender fights anymore because they don't want to back themselves into that corner. So I was, because we obviously know Volk is probably going to fight. Well, I know that this fight was booked before the Lerone thing, but even not,
Wait,
Movsar
Volk is gonna fight who?
Lerone.
That's a thing? That's not a thing.
You don't think so?
There's still one more big fight at 45 to be settled, and I think once that settles between Gene Silva and Diego Lopez, I do think Gene is going to win. But if Lopez for some reason wins, I think it makes things very interesting. But if Silva wins, it also makes things very interesting, and I think it's not so clear cut. I think it just really depends on what the UFC wants, and I also think Volkanovski should have some say, especially if this might be his last fight.
Okay, so
No.
but Volk did tweet, "See you in December." I get if Diego wins, then I think it has to be Lerone. If John Silva wins, it makes it a little bit more interesting. And then there's the Movsar thing. But you're out there DMing with Volk, right? So you got the insight, and you're drinking. Oh, it's Aljo. That's the one. Did you DM with Volk about this?
Message me.
Yeah.
He said he'll throw my name in the hat.
Yeah. Okay, so you're next.
I mean, I hope I'm next. Hunter told me to my face I'm not next.
Oh, wait, was this before the bottle of rum or after?
Before I got rum the next day, but 2 days later. But I understand why, but I also understand why Volkanovski would probably rather fight me over one of these guys who are still kind of building their name. I think it's a better accolade fight for him versus fighting someone who's just an undefeated prospect.
So who do you think deserves it?
From a credential standpoint, it's kind of like the whole John Jones thing. I'm not saying Volk is like John Jones. I think he'll fight the next guy because he's still competing. But I think there's a conversation to be had. That's probably for him. I'm not a power puncher, right? There's less risk, higher reward in terms of the name value. He gets a better scalp if he were to win. I think there's more upside for a fight with myself versus a Lerone Murphy, in my personal opinion.
Can you book the top of the division for me? Who's Volk fighting next? Lerone, Aljamain Sterling. We know Diego and John are doing their thing. How does this all play out over the next few months?
I think Volkanovski versus Sterling.
Yep.
I think you have Lerone Murphy versus Gene Silva.
Okay.
I think there's more upside for a fight with myself versus a Lerone Murphy, in my personal opinion.
Can you book the top of the division for me? Who's Volk fighting next? Lerone, Aljamain Sterling. We know Diego and John are doing their thing. How does this all play out over the next few months?
I think Volkanovski versus Sterling.
Yep.
I think you have Lerone Murphy versus Gene Silva.
Okay, so you think Gene wins?
I skipped. I messed it up. A good chance you can always clip somebody. You know, I've gotten clipped after winning 23 minutes of a fight and then get clipped. You know, so it can happen. But that's what I think. I think Lopez comes up short, and I think maybe Lopez fights Yair. I know there's some history there too. Arnold Allen, we don't know what the hell he's doing.
What about Movsar?
He's fighting Yusuf Zalal. So
what about Movsar?
Right there.
Number one.
Oh, he's injured. Nobody knows how long he's going to be out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. If you in a perfect world that made sense based on merit, I would give it to Movsar. But of course, he had that one fight he was supposed to take. The other guy took the risk, and now he kind of puts himself ahead of you by default. And I understand his bandwagoner fans. They're gonna be like, I just hate Dagestanians. He's not from Dagestan. That's one. Can we stop saying that? And two, there's no slight against Movsar. Movsar beat me by the judges, but I think he's done enough to earn a shot. Yeah, Lerone Murphy had a spectacular knockout, but also over who? A guy who had a lot of hype since his wrestling days in high school. I mean, that's not throwing shade. I'm speaking facts. You know, I'm not. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You tell me.
No, well, I think if you're comparing the two resumes, actually Lerone's is equal to Movsar because they have the same amount of wins. Lerone is way more. Yeah. He's 9-0-1 and Movsar is 9-0 in the UFC.
Who has the better wins?
Well, that's the thing. But who has the better wins? But who has more fights and has been more active since Movsar's win over Diego Lopez 2 years ago? Lerone has something like 6 fights. Like, you can't just sit on these wins.
No, that's 100% fair. And that's why I said if it was a perfect world, he would have gotten the shot already.
Yeah.
But because he's like constantly injured or something happening where he can't fight, I can understand why Lerone would be ahead of him. So I'm not disregarding that at all. I'm just talking straight up on merit in terms of who has done what to date. The same thing, like, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I just really think I've done enough in the sport. You can talk about the DQ win. Okay, yes, that was the first time that's ever happened in history. I redeemed myself 3 times over. I go up a weight class. I'm now in the top 5 again. I just don't think these things could be ignored and
No, it's
denied.
impressive.
I think I have a very solid argument of why I should be the next guy in line. And I got a pretty damn good rum company that I am the founder of and put a lot of my hard-earned money into. So I'm doing a lot, man. I'm wearing all these hats. I'm still performing at a high level. I'm 36 years old. I'm not getting any younger. Why not just throw me in there with the other 36-year-old and have the battle of the unks? Go at it.
You're no unk, man. How old are you? 34? 33?
36. I'm 36.
You ain't no unk, man. Come on. But I appreciate you saying that. Well, what about Herb? Herb's an unk. What do you think of Herb?
Uncle Herb needs to... Dude, when I talk about someone coming in the back room and giving a fighters rule meeting and having almost like the most dismissive attitude and just like not wanting to even be there to even do the meeting is just... That's a red flag. And I think it just kind of signals that maybe you're not having as much fun doing this as you used to. Maybe the popularity and you feel like you're too big for the sport. And then to always want to get so involved in a fight. I've never seen someone get hurt and Herb yells at them to engage in a fight when he's right there seeing that the person just got hurt. And then when you hurt the other guy, he says absolutely nothing when the other guy is doing the same exact thing for literally 34 seconds. And I've counted this to make sure I'm not being biased. And I don't know, man. I get a takedown. Brian ties up my arms in almost like this rubber guard position. And he's yelling at me to work. And I said something to him in the middle of the fight. I'm like, well, tell him to open up his guard. Like, what am I supposed to do? If you are a former fighter, How are you not understanding these positions? And like, if you're gonna say something to me, say something to him too. Like, obviously he wants to fight to stand up, so I understand Brian what he's doing, but you can't fault me when I can't get my arm out, and then what? I'm supposed to just make a mistake? I'm like, the action falls and the responsibility falls on both guys, especially the guy who's in a defensive position and not looking to improve his position. How do you fault the offensive guy who went for the takedown, got the takedown, and is now in a position where the other guy is stalling him out, and then it looks like we're the bad guys that's on top? Because it's not a Hamzat versus DDP situation where Hamzat's in a dominant position where he could land big strikes. I can understand that, but that's not what this was. When I get hurt and I get clipped with a right hand, for me to circle for 20 seconds and then you to yell at me and tell me you need to engage and stop the fight, it's like, I'm warning you. It's like, well, what do you expect me to do? I'm still striking. I'm just not going to sit and point at the ground like I'm Max Holloway when I'm still having the spins and trying to clear my head. I think if anything, it shows fight IQ. How many guys we see, they get cracked and they do this.
Yeah.
And then what happens? They get sent to the gulags. I am not going to be that guy. I got enough highlights of me losing. 2 is enough. 1 is an early stopper, still my opinion. But 2 is enough. I don't need any more seeing my face getting planted onto the canvas. Like, I'm good on that. And again, this is just me being honest. I don't need that. I think I've done more than enough and my fair share of having people being happy that want to see me lose. Go watch those highlights. We don't need to see new ones. We got enough for the ages. That's my opinion.
Did you talk to him after?
Brian, no, I didn't get it. Brian or Herb?
No, Herb.
No. And it's the same thing with like Marc Goddard. Marc Goddard's never wrong. Herb Dean's never wrong. Even when Herb Dean let Trinaldo kill, what was it, Jai Herbert, when essentially Dan Hardy pretty much got fired based on that interaction because he's letting him cover up, protecting his neck and posting one hand, turning away. And Herb's still letting this guy get pummeled. CB Dalloway, when he's on the ground, Herb is watching him. What was it, like 40 unanswered shots? Him in the fetal position, he goes belly down and covers his head. Puts on his headphones. I'm ashy, bro.
No, you look great. You look great. Compared to the sleeve, it's not ashy at all.
Yeah, but there's just so many questionable decisions. And don't get me wrong, it's a tough job. You have to make split-second decisions. But as a former fighter, a guy who's standing on top of the action, some of those calls, there is no excuse for it whatsoever. And it's just negligence or, I don't want to try to defame the guy or anything like that. But I think there should be something that should be looked at. And there should be some type of concern from the commission wondering how these guys are still in these prominent positions of calling these big fights where they're making multiple mistakes and there's no accountability. We're the only ones who have accountability, us and the coaches. Oh, the coaches, he's not training you right. You're not doing enough of X, Y, and Z. Oh, you suck now. You should be doing this and change your camp. Everybody else, they can mess up, and there's no accountability from a referee standpoint, from a judging standpoint, a commission standpoint. We're the only ones who get the short end of the stick every single time, and it's annoying. I think all these fighters would agree with me, and I think the fans, if they had any type of empathy for the fighters and understanding one bad decision, we lose half our paycheck. I think that should be understandable. If anyone else is out there working hard, and if someone could come out who has no idea what they're doing, well, and let me not say no idea, but they're making terrible decisions and calls and making audibles for how you have to approach the fight now because they're so involved, they'll be pissed too, man. And I understand we're human, but there should be accountability. There should be reviews. There should be suspensions. Why are we the only ones who get suspended? And why are these guys going out and do public interviews and standing down, doubling and tripling down on their stances? I'm never wrong. I have a photographic memory. I could not be wrong. What are we talking about?
Well, what drives me nuts is that sometimes there's these controversial moments like the Jason Herzog one from a few weeks ago. And ultimately, like, you guys will have to do interviews about it, press conferences. And sometimes it's hard to get to, like, they don't speak and they just kind of, like scurry off into the night. And then a couple weeks later, we're on to the next controversy. And so you have to answer for it. UFC, Dana will be asked about it. It had nothing to do with him, really. Your coaches will do interviews about it. And so the heat is on you guys. And I feel like the judges, number one, the judges are like they're faceless names, and then the refs never have to really take any sort of heat or any sort of accountability, answer anything, put out a statement, nothing. Like there's nothing, no one requiring them to say anything, and that to me is extremely frustrating. By the way, when you were talking about all that, it made me think: did you get any sort of insight into what's going to happen next year with the new TV deal, the bonuses, the pay? I know you asked those questions. What do we got? What do we know as far as everything going up? What did the brass tell you?
Nah, I try not to get involved in the fighter pay stuff anymore. I've done my time in the sun flying too close, and I've been burned a couple of times. And I'm happy where I'm making enough money that I can provide for myself, my family. Like I said, I funded this rum company. I'm over $300,000 in. We're finally starting to do some fundraising for this. Hopefully that launches later this month, where people can invest in it, and there'll be a small percentage owner of the company, and we can really help scale this thing. I'm not Conor McGregor. I don't make Conor McGregor money. I don't make Floyd Mayweather money, but I'm happy. I'm content with my life. I'm very appreciative of being able to compete still, even at this later age in my life. I got signed at 24 in 2014. So to still be here and doing all this, I'm super fortunate and blessed. Do I think fighter pay should go up, especially with such a substantial deal? Yes, I think Dana has touched on that. One thing, the bonuses have been the same since almost the very beginning. In the new modern day era of MMA, it's been $50,000, and inflation has been inflating since God knows how long, right? So it's only the only thing I could do is be optimistic that the company will. I don't want to say do the right thing, because it almost sounds like I'm like. I just hope they do right by the fighters, man. That's the best way I could put it, and give these guys a fighting chance to try to make a career for themselves. And if they're good enough, they're good enough. If they're not, they're not. I understand not everyone is going to be holding a hefty price tag, but when you're in the premier organization, I do think it would be nice if we didn't have to supplement our income doing something else. I'm doing this because I love this project. I drink in training camp, as I've said multiple times, in moderation. And so hopefully there's a trickle down effect. I think maybe even if they 2 or 3 times X the current pay rate of what everyone is getting, I just think that's substantial amount of money that it should be enough to still be under what they paid percentage wise these previous years.
By the way,
that's what I think based on the numbers.
Couldn't agree more. 2 to 3 is nothing as far as like multiplying.
But that's for us. That's
everything. Yes. Yeah. I mean, for them,
for what I'm getting, that's almost me making champ money of what I was making before losing the belt. So
Yeah.
that would put me in a really good spot again. And again, I'm smart with my money. I can't say the same for every single fighter. I just hope they have the right people in the ear doing the right things by them. But you should have an investment account. You should be looking at SEPT IRAs. You should be looking at all the Roths or the traditionals if you don't make enough money yet. You should be looking at all these different vehicles to invest in mutual funds. What's the other one? ETFs. Somewhere where you could put your money little by little, and as you grow and make bigger paychecks, you get a new contract, you can increase those investments. And then when you're done, you have your life insurance and you'll be set, man. You'll be able to take care of your family. You'll be able to take care of everybody. You'll have your retirement fund, tax-free at that. And whatever you figure out to do after fighting, life is always going to life. And I just wish these guys the best. I really can't say anything else. That's really it.
Over the weekend, RAF, Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Any chance we see a Funkmaster in there? Going back to your roots, we saw Bo Nickel, Holly Holm. Did you catch that?
I missed it, but I would love to take part in it. I just had so much going on. Even at CGI, I got to go for like an hour and a half to the first day, and then I couldn't make it the second day. I'm just getting back from travel, so it's like you get on this emotional high, the climax to the fight, and then once it's over, you come crashing down, and you're like just tired for days, at least for me. And just trying to heal up. I had so much swelling in my arm, people slapping me, great freaking fight, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, ow. But hopefully in the future, I like doing these side quest missions. I've done Polaris, I've done what was the other one? Cage Fury. I would like to compete more. I've done Karate Combat. And hopefully the UFC brings. I know they said they're not trying to have fighters anymore, but I would like to do the Fight Pass Invitational as well.
Oh, yes.
Anything to
Yes.
make money, anything to compete, anything where I can have fun and just kind of get back to the roots, and that's what it's all about for me.
By the way, I'm seeing this tweet from a little while ago from Lerone Murphy. He was, I don't know, reading our minds. I think it should be me versus Volk and Mosar versus the winner of Silva and Lopez for the number one contender spot. If I win, I will love to defend it in the UK in March. So
That's cool. Props to Lerone. He's got an amazing story. Yeah, man, I'm not a hater, man. I just talk facts whenever available, but I still think my win over Ortega is a much more notable win, name value wise, than someone who literally just came to the show and hasn't done anything really in the sport. I don't even think he was even a Bellator champion. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. It's not like a
Pico,
pit bull
no.
situation, right?
no.
So what do we? Yeah, it was a cool knockout. Shit.
I think it's more the winning
Teach me how to
streak
do that
also.
without the tricep.
The winning streak too is impressive. I know only recently is he getting love, but 9 in a row in the UFC I think is impressive. But I understand where you're coming from 100%. I did want to ask you before I let you go, your boy Merab in a little over a month against Corey Sandhagen. You know him well. How will this affect how you'll be able to help him, A, and B, what's the level of confidence going into this one?
I would say level of confidence is definitely really high still, even without me being able to help out as much as the fight gets closer. I think he's got enough work with me during my training camp going into that fight camp before it got announced. And I think he's got enough training partners over at Syndicate MMA where he has good guys who can try to give him those looks as best as they can. Maybe not as much on the ground to get like both in a sparring session, but at least separate and still getting the looks of knowing what's the right thing to do and how to address the certain situations. With that said, still super confident. I plan to still corner him the day before my wedding, and I'm super excited about it. It's gonna be a crazy weekend just because of that. We got a lot of people coming here to Vegas from all over, especially New York, and
The day before your wedding. Is the wedding in Vegas?
the wedding is in Vegas.
I should know this, but I never got the save the date, so
Harry, I was gonna send you one. I was gonna give you Piotr Jan's invitation, but I knew you weren't gonna come.
Wow. I'd at least send a gift. I mean, I'm the best type of guest to invite because I'll just send the gift and you don't have to pay for the food or anything,
All right, I'll send you something. I'll send you the link.
Yo, it's the day before your wedding?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
How does your fiance feel about
Like
this?
Quinta, Weidman,
Wow.
some of the other local guys. It's gonna be great, man. Merab, hopefully, he's not banged up and he can make it out still. But I don't know if I should talk about this or not. But I thought he was just saying his cheek and tongue. He was gonna give me half his bonus. He actually gave me half his bonus, which to me is crazy.
Wow.
So I almost feel like I need to put it aside for when his wedding comes and I can just give it right back to him because I'm like, that's a lot of money.
He just sent it to you. You didn't expect it and it just showed up.
Nah, he gave me a check. He gave it
Wow.
to me in an envelope when I was leaving the PI. And I was like, brother, please don't tell me this is what I think it is. And I opened it and it was exactly what I thought it was. I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Like, brother, no, I wasn't expecting that. You said it. I didn't think. I told everyone you were saying it cheek and tongue, just like how appreciative you were of me helping you and giving you the looks. But I didn't expect him to actually do that. And it just goes to show what type of guy he is. Man of his word. He actually had a bet with somebody for me to beat Piotr Jan in a rematch, and they put up $50,000. Merab put it up too. And this guy still hasn't paid Merab, some Russian dude. I wish I knew his name so I could put him on blast. That guy sucks. But yeah.
What a friend. Unbelievable. By the way, how does your fiance
really the
feel
best
about you
guy.
cornering the night before your wedding?
No, I told him I still will. We talked about it like briefly. I was like, brother, this is not even a question. It's here in Vegas. I don't got to go anywhere. There's without a doubt. I would think that I should be healed up in the next 2 weeks to start training again, hopefully at a high level. I could actually move it now. I could almost straighten it all the way. So it's
Okay.
good. It's coming along.
All right. Well, get well soon. A lot of exciting things. Big win. Your buddy's fighting, defending his belt against a guy that you obviously have a history with. You're getting married the next day. Funk Harbor, White. The boys are saying they're jonesing for the white one. By the way, they've heard you talk about it, but we haven't had a chance to try it. That's what they're telling me. They're writing in the chat. So
It's like a real Caribbean staple. So if you ever had like Ray and Nephew or Rum Bar, you know exactly what I'm talking about in terms of the smell. I make sure it wasn't as strong because I want the American and European consumers and everyone around the world, because I plan on taking this thing global, man. I really do.
love it.
And I want it to not be super strong where it's off-putting to some people. I want people to be able to enjoy it, still have the natural notes and the kick of a traditional Jamaican rum. But this is a blend of different Jamaican rum distilleries. So I didn't want a white label. So now doing it this way, we kind of get the best of both worlds, and we kind of were able to concoct our own blend of it and have the same similarities, but a different tasting profile that you don't lose anything. And the fact that it's no additives, no preservatives, gluten-free, no food coloring, I think that's the home run. Especially if you drink and you want to be somewhat health conscious about it. I know people are going to say it doesn't go hand in hand, but if you want to drink responsibly and also drink something that's not going to be bad for you outside of you shouldn't drink, I think this is a great alternative, and it's just a great product, man. I'm super passionate about it. I love it. I enjoy it. Merab had some with me after my fight. I should actually post a video. We were in the back room and we did a toast of cheers, and everybody drank. So it was cool.
I'm sure it's going to be flowing on the 5th of October.
Yes, it will.
Hey. And by the way, shout out on the I saw you speaking a little bit of the native language in your post-fight interview. Well done.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
It wasn't quite Charles Johnson who had like a whole conversation, but you know,
Chinese.
Yeah. You saw that.
I couldn't one up that. There was
Yeah,
no
I know.
way.
It was unbelievable.
Like, ni hao and gumbai, which is like cheers. That's all I know.
Yeah. Listen, it was impressive after a 5-round fight. Thanks, man. Get well soon. Appreciate the time as always, and good luck next month.
Thank you, Ariel.
There he is, the one and only, the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. Always great to have him on, and appreciate his insights very much. He doesn't hold back. You got to give him that.